The warmest of welcomes to Rosario and everybody. Welcome to join us in TCR South America. We are opening the 5th season in this series live in a Rosario venue that has hosted several events of this race. Starting 2025 with those memories with the defending champion Pedro Cardoso ready to defend his 2024 crown. 14 cars are gathering today here at the Juan Manuel Fangio circuit as we are getting ready for the qualifying session. Sunny afternoon in Buenos Aires, 300 kilometers of distance, quite in range from Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina. With the arrival of Nelson Piquet Jr. joining the rebranded Squadra Martino, now known as Honda YPF Racing, alongside the Pernillas, father and son, Leonel and Tiago, joining TCR Trophy entrant Adrián Quiriano, and joining also Mariano Pernilla, brother of Leonel Pernilla, uncle of Tiago, with the 2022 champion Fabrizio Pezzini joining also, taking his entry in W2 Pro GP, joining long-time entrant Rafael Reyes. Santino Ballerini, youngster from Argentina, also making his debut in the series for Paladini Racing, who has added 2 Lincoln Co's as the brand is back in the series alongside Juan Angel Rosso and Fabian Gianantuoni, those who have spent a few seasons in these outfits. Luis Ramirez from Panama comes back to the series alongside the newcomer Gennaro Rassetto, completing the lineup of PMO Racing alongside defending champion Pedro Cardoso. And also Cobra Racing Team is now fielding the first full-time female driver, Marianien Cotter, who stunned in the women's test held a few months ago as we watched Tiago Pernilla, 21 years old from Argentina.
Muy pero muy buenas tardes.
Let's hear from our pit reporter Mariano Colombo joining us one more season.
Juan Manuel Fangio de la ciudad de Rosario, donde comienza la acción de este 2025 para el TCR South America.
Starting the season for TCR South America.
Pilotos debutantes con un equipo oficial
Many
y con
newcomers.
un circuito preparado para recibir nuevamente a la categoría
And the track
internacional
already
que tenemos la
set
Q1. En momento van a ser
for
20 minutos donde van a
Q1
estar
that
saliendo
will
los
begin in a few minutes with the
14
14
pilotos.
entrants.
Luego de esos 20 minutos, los 12 más rápidos van a estar
course,
pasando a la
12
para ordenar
minutes,
la grilla para la carrera
the 12
número
fastest,
1
sorry,
del
in 20
domingo.
minutes
La
will
carrera número
go
2
through
con
to the
las
next
primeras
round.
10 posiciones en grilla invertida. Los dejo con la clasificación del TCR South
Of course,
America.
we will have the reverse grid for race number 2 as usual, and we are slowly approaching the start of the season. 2025 is going on in Rosario. My name is Francisco Aura, and it's a pleasure to be one more season alongside you as we sit next to the newcomer Nelson Piquet Jr. A year and a half in Formula One racing for Renault team, 2008 and 2009. Joining series 2 times champion Fernando Alonso. Mariano Pernilla was the quickest in the first practice session in the morning today in Rosario. Later, he was followed by Nelson Piquet Jr. as the fastest, as this man, Fabian Gianantuoni, was third in the first practice session. Here is him sitting in his new Lincoln Co. as we are now heading into qualifying 1. Q1 is starting in Rosario. Everybody's welcome to join us. We're really grateful to have your company once again at the other side of the screen, wherever you are in the world, as it's 5 p.m. in Rosario, in Argentina, and in several countries of South America. as we have the teams and drivers already taken on track. Sunny afternoon. And we will start having the first lap times very shortly. We go on board with Pedro Cardoso, the series champion, his Peugeot. Long and twisty circuit of exactly 4,000 meters of Rosario is hosting us one more time. Here is Thiago Pernilla, the 21-year-old that has taken some entries last year. Gennaro Rasetto ahead of this man, Nelson Piquet Jr., the man that will catch many eyes. As here we have the Toyota. In the garage, Marianin Cotter of Cobra Racing. And we are starting the first laps. We have Pedro Cardoso and Panama's driver Luis Ramirez. Panama also launching their own TCR championship. Of course, we wish all the best to all of them. Central America is really growing. So is North America in TCR World, as Mexico will host the TCR World Tour opening round in a bit more than a month. And here TCR South America starting their 5th season, 2021, with the title for Pepe Oriola, the Spaniard. The following year it was Fabrizio Pezzini. In 2023 it was the new TCR World Tour entrant, Ignacio Montenegro from Argentina. And last year it was time for Pedro Cardoso to lift the trophy. This man on screen with an extraordinary second half of the season. Here I have the man on screen, the 25-year-old from Brazil. Behind him is Panama's Luis Ramirez, who is running right behind Cardoso, possibly to take some references. There is Cardoso about to close his first lap. It's 138.61. Cardoso has closed his first lap. And he's at the top, followed by Mariano Pernilla. Now Thiago Pernilla takes second, just 0.06 of a second behind Cardoso. 0.4 of a second off is Mariano Pernilla in third place. Ramirez from Panama is in fourth, sitting ahead of Ballerini and Quiriano. Go on board with Piquet Jr. Cars are on track, most of them. There is Fabian Gianantoni in his lap, 1/10 off the pace He's sitting in third place right now. We watch now Rafael Reis on screen, the veteran from Brazil, who has been always consistent, a title contender in every season. Will this be his year? We'll see. He's ready to go for the title. "13 minutes remaining as we have now Santino Ballerini in the garage, waiting to start another outing. Young driver from Argentina, Santino Ballerini, making his debut here in this season. Now we're going on through as Nelson Piquet takes first place, 1/10 ahead of Cardoso, as we had a car running wide. It looked to be turn number 1. Mariano Pernilla is now in 6th place. Here we have Luis Ramirez from Panama, who is in 8th place. 14 entrants in this opening round. Maria Nienkotter yet to go on track. There is the driver from Central America. Nelson Piquet Jr. lead in the pack, 138.462. That is still 0.3 of a second off the pace of practice 1 and practice 2. There was just 100 of a second between the record of both practice sessions. Cardoso is now in 2nd, Thiago Pernilla in 3rd, Reis in 4th. Gianantoni speaking with his engineer, sitting in 5th place behind Reis. Mariano Pernilla is in 6th, and now Leonel Pernilla takes first place, just 0.7 of a second ahead of Nelsinho Piquet Jr. Or actually Nelson Piquet Jr., not to repeat the diminutive. There is Pernilla, 138.4. We're starting the tournament in Argentina. Unlike previous seasons, as the series is slowly consolidating. Last year we started the 4 opening rounds in Brazil, then 2 stops in Uruguay, and then the last 4 in Argentina. This season will be different calendar. On board with Pedro Cardoso. Here we have Pedro Cardoso coming out to the main straight and see if he can improve his lap, since he couldn't. Cardoso sitting in 3rd place, just 156 thousandths of a second behind. Diego Pernilla remains in fourth, ahead of Rafael Reis. As far as now, Ballerini, Ciriano, Rasetto, and Nienkotter are the ones that are out of the reverse grid. But first, we have to go to Q2. Pedro Cardoso now going for another lap, but that's quite off the pace. 0.7 of a second, losing a lot of terrain in sector 2. El Pernilla now on track again, but has backed off in his last lap on track. And now Cardoso head back into the pits from third place behind Piquet Jr. and behind Pernilla. Let's see what the newcomer Gennaro Rasetto does here, driving for PMO Racing. A man born in Salto Grande town, not far away from Rosario. He's taken a stop in several other series in his country. Now making his debut. "26 years old for him." His lap. Trying to beat his previous lap. He's 2 seconds off the pace. Not a bad first sector, but that's quite flat out. This second sector will give us a more clear picture on where he could be standing. Now he goes back into the pits. Rafael Reis trying to squeeze in the top 3 at least, but he's already 2/10 off the pace halfway through the lap. The 41-year-old driver from Brazil. It has taken 2 entries in the FIA Motorsport Games, both in France in 2022 and in Valencia 2024. Rafael Reis with a quickest sector 3, now has the slipstream of his teammate Pezzini going into the main straight, but he's off the pace. Yeah, that sector number 2 was really costly for the Brazilian. But anyway, some positive signs in sector 3 as he was a 1/10 of a second quickest than everybody else. Anyway, 5th place is quite comfortably enough for him to go to Q2. Only Rasetto and Nienkotter are off the pace and are knocked out as far as now. And now a positive start for Rafael Reis, who now has the slipstreaming of his teammate Pezzini. Very useful in the first sector, which is just a very long turn 1. Some really quick parts of the track that might be useful. Also possibly making some tests. Oh, Pezzini rounds wide. I was about to say that it was possible strategy testing towards Q2, and Rafael Reis finally has to close his lap. Now heading into the final sector. Very quick lap by Race in Sector 1 and Sector 3, setting sector records. As here we see Pezzini running wide, the 2022 champion. Back then, with a PMO Racing, driving a Lincoln Co. Now at the wheel of a Cupra. As here is Rasetto coming back on track. In 14th we have Maria Nienkotter, who won the TCR women's contest, testing contest. After succeeding in a test that was looking for a winner, a female driver that would win the prize, which is getting 50% of the funding to race the full season in 2025. Pedro Cardoso, who is in 4th place. We see things really packed in the top 5. Look at the top 3, separated by just 7 thousandths of a second. That is certainly impossible to measure, but it is anyway. Now we are sitting next to Nelsinho Piquet. Luis Ramirez, the driver from Panama, is in 11th place. Here he is in 11th. Narrowly making it into Q2 as he has a 7/10 cushion over 12 Adrian Chiriano and a 1.2 seconds over Gennaro Rasetto. Therefore shouldn't be much of a problem for Ramirez to go through. Then see if he can battle for 10th place. Get in pole position for race 2. One of the last attempts. Now Rasetto goes to 12th place, and that certainly means something, as he would be now heading through to Q2, dropping Chiriano out, and Maria Nienkotter, who is 9/10 of a second almost off the pace, but she's not on track apparently. Oh, Gerardo Rasetto spins off after securing his place in Q2. We'll see if this brings out a red flag or not, as his car seems to be stopped. That was a lucky escape from Rasetto, who will anyway carry loads of mud into the garage. That would mean a disaster for him after setting a lap that makes him go through to the next round, to the next qualification. There's the replay of Rasetto. There's Rasetto. And the final standing here of Q1 with Leonel Pernilla as the quickest, 138.455, 5 thousandths of a second ahead of Reis and 7 thousandths of a second ahead of Piquet Jr. Behind we have Cardoso, Tiago Pernilla, Ballerini, Gianantuoni, Pernilla, Mariano Pernilla, Fabrizio Pezzini and Juan Angel Rosso. In the top 10, then we have Luis Ramirez and Gennaro Rasetto making it into Q2. Dropped out are Adrián Chiriano and Maria Nienkotter.
María no se logró el tiempo para entrar en el Q2, pero contame las sensaciones del debut en el TCR.
What were your feelings after your debut?
Agora a gente teve o quali, né? Classificação. Infelizmente, no primeiro treino a gente bateu o carro na curva 2 e a gente acabou pensando em fazer mais um shakedown no carro na classificatória. Assim, na corrida a gente possa ter certeza que o carro esteja 100%. Agora na classificatória sentimos que o carro acabou virando meio que 90 graus à frente, então para o carro ficar reto. Tava com o volante assim, então infelizmente
I had my wheel almost 90 degrees turning to the right in the middle of the straight.
Então
so we had to set things up for tomorrow.
Em relação a isso, infelizmente vamos largar da última colocação, mas tenho certeza que amanhã com o carro 100% vou buscar o resultado.
Muchas gracias. La palabra de María Nienkotter.
Maria Nienkotter. Niece of Leonardo Nienkotter, former driver of Formula 3, South American Formula 3 driver Leonardo Nienkotter. Leonardo Nienkotter, who had several national titles in Brazil, now guiding his son Enzo and his niece Maria. As we have Q1 already completed, and now we'll move through to Q2, set to last 10 minutes.
Adrián no se dio el pase a la Q2, pero por muy poquito.
We'll hear from Adrián Chiriano. You narrowly missed Q2.
A todo el equipo Honda Racing.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank all my team.
A todo el grupo de trabajo, a los chicos, hicieron un trabajo bárbaro, me tuvieron mucha paciencia. La
Everybody
realidad
was very
que faltó
patient
media
with me in the
décima,
team.
pero más allá de eso rescato que
We like to just
como charlábamos hoy, arranqué a 4 segundos el viernes, la primera tanda,
But I started
a
on
3,
4 seconds of the
a 2 y
pace
medio,
yesterday.
quedamos unos 6.
Now we are 1
Que
second,
hoy
or
ponen
1
todo
second and a half.
al asador, así que
We've
quedaron
given
unos
our
6 a 4 segundos que estábamos ayer.
From 4 seconds of the pace yesterday
obviamente
to
me hizo todo
1.6
pasar,
here.
pero
I see progress.
la realidad que se trabajó
Of course, I
mucho,
would have
tuvieron
loved
mucha
to
info
make
de
it
los chicos,
through
el grupo me ayudó
Q2,
mucho,
but
mis
I'm very
compañeros,
grateful to everybody.
Tiago, Leo, Mariano, me llevaron, así que nada, muy conforme con el trabajo.
Teammates,
Vuelvo a repetir, agradecerle al equipo por la paciencia Así que bueno, estamos en buen camino.
But
A
we
seguir
must be patient.
trabajando.
We are on the
Mañana
right
hay
track.
2 carreras, sabemos que tenemos que seguir
have 2
mejorando,
races,
pero
yes,
estoy
tomorrow.
conforme con lo hecho hasta acá.
But I am
Gracias.
satisfied on our
Adrián
progress
Chiriano en
from
su debut en
yesterday
el
to today,
TCR.
says series newcomer Adrián Chiriano, gentleman driver in Argentina throughout the last decade and a half. We are getting ready for Q2. This is Fabian Gianantuoni, who is sitting in his Lincoln Co, waiting for his outing into Q2. We'll see some of the best action of Q1. Pedro Cardoso leading the way initially. As we will have Q2 starting in about 3 minutes. Nelsinho Piquet in a very tight battle at the top, as we've seen. Only 7 thousandths of a second in the top 3. There was Piquet Jr. And now the cars are ready to start Q2. We'll have the 12 entrants, except for Chiriano and Maria Ninkotter, who were knocked out in Q1 as we saw. Now the cars are heading out on track. It's time to go for our pole sitter for today, for tomorrow's race 1 and race 2 as well. Here are our 12 contestants. Gennaro Rasetto managed out of the gravel trap. And is now on his way to open the lap. We're watching round number 1 of TCR South America. Qualifying in Rosario. My name is Francisco Aure. Really grateful we are to have your company one more year. From South America to all the world. Thank you everybody for joining us. Wherever you are on the planet. So this is it. We have 12 contestants. We'll have our pole sitter. 10th place will have pole position for race 2. And now we have Pedro Cardoso on screen, the defending champion. See Luis Ramirez once again running behind Cardoso. We'll see if there is any slipstreaming strategy between the two Peugeots. Pedro Cardoso leading the way. We also have Gennaro Raceto, but he's farther down on the track. Now it's time to start the standings to be sorted, as Cardoso is now leading a 137.6. Race 6/10 off. As far as now, several drivers are far ahead. Mariano Pernilla jumps into third, right ahead of Rosso. Race in third, only Nelson Piquet Jr. to close his lap. He's the only one that is left to close his lap. So we'll see when he does where he is standing. Santino Ballerini took an extra out lap apparently. Cardoso leading the way now, going down below 138. Him and Leonel Pernilla, the only two drivers that managed to do so far in the weekend. It's really remarkable. Now let's go on board with K Jr. There is Nelson Piquet Jr. His first flying lap. Taking turns 2 and 3. Very nice first sector, and without any kind of slipstreaming, he is 1/10 below the mark. Really promising. Sector 2, let's see. Well, even more ahead. He's beating both first and second sector records, as you can see on the screen. Now let's see when he completes sector number 3. Very impressive asset for the series. Well, improving even more. This is an amazing lap so far. Of course, he will have to complete the job in sector 4. Nelson Piquet Jr. He wants to step very strongly in South America, in TCR South America. Wow! 136.69. He anyway takes pole position. Well, that was a mistake in the timing apparently. But anyway, it's first place for him, 137.3, which anyway is an extraordinary time. It was an excellent lap, as there's the final attempts now for Gian Antoni, for Thiago Pernia, Lionel Pernia too. Mariano Pernia, who played the 2006 World Cup for Spain's national team, being born in Argentina, later has had a very, very fine spell in Spanish Football League after his beginnings in Argentina Giants Independiente. A family that has mixed football and racing, the Pernias, led by Vicente Pernia, who played also for the Argentinian national team in the 1970s, narrowly missing the 1978 World Cup squad. Pernia. About to go for another lap. I know it's Ballerini, the one who is in his lap. Will he beat Pezzini? We'll see. His best sector 1 seems to be competitive, but he's lost a bit in sector number 2. We're following Ballerini's lap as well, as that could be a battle for pole position for race 2. Lionel Pernia now back on the track. Now starting possibly his last attempts. We're in the final seconds. It will be the last attempt for Pernia. Going for his attempt to at least jump into the front row. He's 4/10 off the pace from his teammates. Well, just 30 thousandths of a second in sector 1. Now he's very close to start and to close sector number 2. That has been a struggling first qualification in Q1. Now let's see. Well, he might be battling for second place with Cardoso. We'll have to see how he does in sector number 3. Sector 3 lasts about 26 seconds. So we'll see if Pernia can close the margin a bit. No, he doesn't. That's already slower than his previous lap. Now, last chance Pernilla will close his lap, but he's quite off the pace. Reis has also closed his lap. And Thiago Pernilla jumps into the top. We weren't following him so closely as we had Leonel Pernilla on screen, but Thiago Pernilla jumps into pole position. Let's see now what Cardoso does in his last attempts, as he's still running. But anyway, Thiago Pernilla knocks down Nelson Piquet Jr. Cardoso couldn't beat him. And now it will be between Ballerini and Ramirez for P10. Ballerini finished his lap and he's in 11th. Ladies and gentlemen, the youngster Thiago Pernilla made it to pole position. As we see Gennaro Rasetto with some inconvenience that might be a consequence of his spin in Q1 when he ran off track. This is the final standings of the qualifying. Thiago Pernilla has got pole position surprisingly over Nelson Piquet Jr. and Pedro Cardoso. Leonel Pernilla ended up in 4th ahead of Reis, Gianantonio Rosso, Pezzini Pernilla, Mariano Pernilla, and Luis Ramirez, the driver from Panama, has pole position for race number 2 as he ended up in 10th place for PMO Racing. Qualifying is over, and the first pole sitter of the year is Thiago Pernilla. And here is the ovation for Thiago Pernilla. Here is Thiago Pernilla celebrating. Let's hear from our pole sitter, the youngster Thiago Pernilla.
Thiago, se te ve la felicidad en la cara, una vuelta increíble cuando parecía que se la quedaba Piqué.
¿Cómo estás? Hola para todos. Sí, todavía tengo
Seems
el
to be
corazón a
Piquet.
mil, una vuelta en la que
It was
tiré
you.
todo. La
Yeah,
primera
my
vuelta
heart is
estábamos
beating so
lejos,
much.
me dijeron que Piquet había hecho un tiempazo y pensé que era imposible.
I was told
Salí a
that
tirar
El Silva
todo,
has done an
pensando
amazing
en que
lap
por ahí
time.
podía hasta pegarme, salía literalmente dejar la vida y y lo logré. Así que
I
contentísimo,
came out
una
to give my
categoría
best.
demasiado competitiva
And I
y,
did it.
y
This
bueno, me
series is
recibió de
too
linda manera.
competitive.
Recibís ahí el premio de Seiko entonces por ser quien se queda con la pole position.
There
Ahora a
he's
celebrar con la
receiving
familia, ¿no?
his
También.
prize.
A celebrar. La verdad que hermoso.
Yeah, we'll celebrate in
obsequio que me
family
hizo
now.
la categoría, a ganar más.
Thiago
I'll
Pernía,
try
el
to
poleman
collect
en esta
many
primera
more
carrera
watches,
aquí
he
del
says.
2025 para el TCR South America.
That's the car of Thiago Pernilla, our first pole sitter of the season. That celebration with all his team also. Pernilla's dynasty.
Estamos con Lucho Ramírez, que va a largar desde la primera
We'll hear
posición.
from
La
Luis
segunda
Ramírez.
carrera con grilla invertida.
Pole
Lucho,
position
contame un
for
poquito
race
las
2.
sensaciones después de esta quali.
Please tell
Bueno,
me
la
your
verdad que
feelings.
positivo. La segunda práctica que tuvimos el día de hoy no fue
Very
algo
positive.
productivo. Tuvimos problemas con la
Practice 2 was
dirección del
very
carro,
productive.
la cual no nos dio chance de aprovechar todas las prácticas que teníamos.
Q1 didn't
Al final del día
give
es la
us
primera
chance.
vez que corro en este autódromo, es la primera vez que corro
The first time
este auto también. Entonces había
in
bastante
this
que
track and
adaptarse
this
y
car.
quería aprovechar todo el tiempo que teníamos.
I wanted to adapt myself and I needed to
Bastante,
take
bueno, satisfecho
every single minute
porque
I had.
sabemos que
I'm
bueno,
very
al final del día
satisfied.
son los mismos puntos para ambas carreras.
In the
Yo
end,
creo que
we
comentaba
have
con mi equipo, si no estábamos
the same
peleando en los
points
top
for both
5,
races.
era asegurar un décimo para salir al final en la segunda de primero. Así que creo que positivo el resultado, el equipo está contento que eso es
P10
lo
was the
primordial
target.
y nada, dejar un buen resultado
be
mañana
very happy.
para llegar a Panamá en alto.
Muchas gracias. La palabra de
And we'll
Lucho
try to take the
Ramírez, que
Panamanian
viene
flag
desde Panamá
as
para
high as we
correr en el
can.
TCR South America. Leo, me decías recién, habla con la figura, estuvimos hablando con Thiago, contame vos las sensaciones de verlo hacer la pole.
No,
We'll now
increíble,
hear
increíble porque sé
from,
la vuelta que había metido
Lionel
en el
Pernilla.
signo.
Well, I
y
know
salí a bajarla y
the lap
en un
the
momento
senior
venía
did.
verde y después no pude. Se terminó
I was
cayendo la
doing
goma.
well,
Y cuando me dijeron que la pole había sido Thiago me di cuenta
had
que
no
la
more
vuelta había
tires.
sido superlativa.
but after I was told
yo sé
Thiago
lo
had
que
the
dar una
pole, I
vuelta de ese
said,
tiempo
well,
con el
this lap
auto
was amazing.
como lo tenemos. Y me pone muy feliz, porque es su
I'm very happy
primer
for
pole
him.
así de picante en las grandes
It's
ligas.
his
Así que
first pole position
nada,
in
muy contento por
big
el
leagues.
loco y por todo Honda IP.
So I'm very happy
Están
for
mirando
this.
de todas partes del
for our
mundo,
boy.
es tu hijo. Contame si vos preferís hacer la pole
It's
o que
your
la haga
son.
él.
No, la verdad, tengo más
Would you
que
rather
la haga él
Make pole
que
position.
la haga yo. Después cuando
or
se
him?
le haga
Oh.
más normal hacerla, me va a
I prefer
gustar
myself.
peleársela y ganársela, pero nada, muy feliz porque
Now
tenemos un
I'm
grupo
really
con
happy
Seba
that he
Martino,
did.
con Ocasa,
When
con
he gets
DirecTV,
used
con
to,
Oferta,
we'll
con
fight
Chamay.
again.
Un grupo de sponsors y de amigos que
I'm really
apoyan
grateful
enormemente y nada,
to all of
él-
our
no tengo
sponsors who are
palabras
supporting
para
both me and him.
porque es increíble cómo viene aprendiendo y nada, hoy ganó a Piquet, a Pernilla y a Cardoso, el campeón. Así que
He beats
Que
Piquet.
bueno, lo tenemos a Nelsinho
And
también, a
Cardoso,
quien lo
our champion.
aprovechamos también. Nelsinho, parecía que la pole era tuya, una vuelta
Nelsinho,
increíble y
it
apareció
seems,
Thiago a
it seemed
bajar
pole
ese
position
tiempo.
was
¿Cómo
going
lo
to be
viste
yours,
vos
and
desde
now
dentro?
Thiago
Estou
took it off.
entrando com uma reclamação com o Seba para colocar mais peso. Ele é o carro é mais
Yeah,
chico,
I'm
mais
asking
novo,
now the team to add some
os reflexos
more weights
dele
in
estão
Thiago's
mais
car.
rápido, então temos que
We had to calm him down. This kid is really
ele é mais
fast.
que nós, é mais forte. Então temos que eu sou velho, ele é muito velho.
I am really old.
Temos que
Lionel is very old.
acalmar ele.
I know he's the
Parecía
youngest.
que la
So
pelea
we'll have to
iba a
stop him.
ser con Leo Pernilla. Sin embargo, tenés acá
It seemed
la
the fight
sangre
was going to
joven
be with
también, que va a
Lionel,
estar
but
seguramente todo el
it
año
was in the end
apretando.
you.
Não, eu tenho que aprender muito com todos eles.
I had to learn a lot from all of them.
Com tração dianteira, estou me acostumando.
They are used to front-wheel drive,
Uma felicitação muito grande poder estar
so
com
I had
eles,
to
com a Honda,
give my
com o
compliments to
Seba.
all of them.
É maravilhoso a equipe.
Muchas
It's
gracias.
a
muchas gracias
wonderful
a los tres.
team. Said Nelsinho Piquet, and now the celebration between Thiago and Lionel Pernilla. So we see some highlights of the qualifying session. We are really grateful for your company. We're really happy to start another season, and everybody is welcome to join us tomorrow. My name is Francisco Aure. Thanks a lot for being with us. We'll come back tomorrow with race 1 and 2 from Rosario, from Argentina to all the world. TCR South America kicking off 2025. Thank you and goodbye.